Alright. Spectator lag. It exists, but how bad is it and what should it look like? As well, can field of view change what spectator a lag might actually be perceived as or look like? Alright, so instead of recording this by streaming my gameplay to an Elgato or another capture card, what I'm going to be doing is recording my gameplay with camera. And this way you can see real time from two different machines what it would visually look like. So one would be what you see, and the other one would be what the other person sees. So it'll be real time spectator lag. Um, the other reason why I'm doing it with the camera is that way doing side by side video, like recording two different sets of video and putting them side by side, isn't going to give a very good representation. So that's the reason why I'm doing a camera. As well, this only does 60 frames a second, plus whatever compression is added from uh, between video editing, between OBS, etc. I'm also going to record it at 240 hertz at 1080p on a GoPro, and that way I can slow it down to 60 frames a second or quarter speed. And in small engagements that I'll try and get into, you'll see what it looks like from my player's perspective, as well real time what it looked like from the spectator lag or the spectator's view. The other issue that I ran into with testing is that with running more than one, well, me one person, but running more than two or more than one player at a time, is it will go through and notice that there is inactivity, and it will kick the inactive player out. So I have to immediately take the secondary player and run them into an engagement, let them get killed, have them spectate mine, and then I'll run through and I'll try and get into one or two engagements just to see what it looks like from both my view and from the spectator view, and if there's any variance. Now there's two different ways I'm going to do this. The two different ways I'm going to do this is from the same location. So I'm going to show through a trace route that my data from both machines is taking the same route. I'll go through, get into a lobby and engagement, record it, jump out. Then I'm going to turn on a VPN. I'm going to run the same trace route, but on the VPN it's going to be complete polar opposite. So I'm going to go through and have one PC connect to one coast of the US and the other PC connected to the other coast of the US. So worst case scenario that you should ever see in a lobby. And then from there, I'm going to go through, run a trace route, show that it actually takes a different path for the data. Then get into a game, sit there and join the match, jump into a lobby, and see what that spectator lag looks like. So you can see what it's supposed to look like if you're in the same region, and then you can also see what it looks like if you're in polar opposites of your country, the worst case scenario, what your spectator lag should look like. So that's not what that should go to. Alright, there we go. Let's see. Alright, so right now, I'm not sure how good it looks. So I'm going to run trace route from both machines. If it actually go. Alright, and they should, once it's done, they should look very similar in the route. There might be an off chance of one or two jumps being different, but for the most part it should be pretty similar. This is really confusing for me because I have a keyboard on top of my laptop's base, and then I have three mice over here, one for my server that I'm looking at over here, and then one for each machine, so it's throwing me for a loop. So if that doesn't get me killed in the lobby real quick, then I'll have to jump back into another one. So far, it looks relatively the same. Should be the last one. There you go. All right. So this right here shows that it's taking a very similar path for the data. So go ahead and minimize that on both of these. Thought I had the game up already. I do. So I want to show what it should look like. Oh, there's a new version. That one's already on it. All right, so this one I'm going to have connect to New York City. Hold on, disconnect. Settings. I'm going to turn encryption off. Oh. To New York City. This one I'm going to connect to California. Wait, is there a worse one? No, yeah, California. Connect. All right. So start this up. No. All right. They should both give a different path of travel, and you already see that they're both showing much higher latency on round trip. So this should give us a really good point of view what it would look like worst case scenario. For instance, let's say two streamers that are in a team together on separate coast. Now, if there's going to be a chance to see a variance of what you see on a streamer's live feed versus what a spectator sees on another live feed, this will give that best case scenario. I'll go through and try and I'll try to be a tryhard and see if I can do a little bit better with engagements and see if I can at least get 1 or 2 kills. That way we get kind of a better image or a picture of what it looks like during engagements. So again, as you can see, the return time on packets is astronomical. Some of it's due to the encryption, and some of it's due to the distance. And you can also see that first hop, the IP is completely changed. The devices along the path are completely different. All right, so they're both done, and you can kind of see what they look like there. So they're a bit different. I don't know how well that shows up on the cam or not, but those are completely different. All right, we might have to sit there and back out, try and ease up on the location variances, and then jump back in. All right, let's try Florida. Florida, New York. Good enough. All right, again, this is just to show the difference. All right, so this one might be the one that's causing a problem. Going all the way up to New York. Let's change that. Well, we'll see how it does in this one. And if it's really bad, then we'll change it. But earlier we were hitting about 90 something millisecond on this one. Now we're down to like 45. So maybe to ease it up a little bit. All right, I'm just waiting for this to finish this, just to show that the route's different. Should be 2 more hops. There we go. All right. So as you can see, they are using different routes. All right, jump back in the game. And I'm not sure this is actually going to work. All right. We're going to try it with one connected to the VPN and one not connected to the VPN. And we'll see what happens. Because it's taking too long to try and connect. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect from the VPN. Quit. This one, I'm going to stay connected. I think New York City was giving us pretty good round trip latency. I'll move it to Florida or something. Alright. So that one's on Florida now. I don't know. I guess maybe that was visible. I'm not sure. Alright. Let's try it again. But one of them is on a VPN, the other one is not. So I'm not on a VPN. This one over here is on a VPN.
soldier.
Alright, so I'm going to go through and take this video, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of edit it, see what's on it, what it looks like, and then from there I'll go ahead and post it. But from what I had seen, it didn't look like there was much of a difference in the latency or the lag. And we'll go over here, and as you can see, I don't know, it's right here. It still shows I'm connected. It was green for a second, but yeah, it's you see how it shows it's green there for a second as I move my hand over it. It's still connected. And I'll turn it off now. There you go. Now it's no longer connected. So yeah, all right. I'll get this video up, but from initial view, from what I can see, it doesn't look like spectator lag is really a thing. It doesn't matter if it's my teammate that's spectating me or somebody else. What it is the distance from that person from that server. So that person is getting their data from the server where it's interacting with me and another player. So they're just observing me from the data they're getting from the server, from wherever their location is. So if there is a latency between the person that I'm shooting at, who's sending data to the server, to me, who's sending data to the server, and then the variance between the two should also be seen by that other person who's only collecting data from the server to see where they are. But from what I could see during this test, I can't really see, if at all, there is, but nothing that I can notice difference in spectator lag. Alright, so I'm back to recording on my laptop. While editing the video, I did notice a couple of things. From the first engagement, now this is without the VPN on. So this is both machines connecting from my home to the same server. And this is from the GoPro at 240 FPS and 1080p. Not the best angle, but it is enough to cover the crosshairs, which is what we're focused on. So right there, that seems fine. But as soon as the player starts to move, as you can see right there, I've already gone through over here and started aiming at him. This is yet to catch up. So it looks like the player is already over the hill, and I was able to get like 1 or 2 hits off of him. But now it looks over here like I'm just shooting off into space. So again, right here, they're already almost over the hill from what I see. Now it looks like they're almost gone, and now I'm shooting where he used to be at. So I would say there's probably about 10 milliseconds, maybe 20 milliseconds latency. It's not much. But again, this is like best case scenario, both machines at the exact same place, using the same path of travel for the data. So if the two players were in the same town, city, maybe within 20, 30 miles of each other, that's what they would see, is something very similar to that, especially if you're in a very, very densely populated city where there's probably a few million people. You're probably going to be in a lobby with some of them. So that's what latency I would expect you to see. Now this, given the tests that I ran, I wasn't able to get 2 machines connected to VPN in different locations. I was only able to get 1 connected. So my secondary PC, my wife's PC, was connected to a VPN down in, I believe, Florida. And then my PC was here, connected to, I think, my ISP somewhere between Missouri and Illinois. So right here, the enemy's going to come moving around the corner. I guess I bumped the camera, and that's why you see part of my wife's PC in the shot, my cell phone for connecting and controlling my server. But anyway, so you're going to see over here, the player runs across, and as they run across, you'll see just a little bit of a variance. So I see him, I'm starting ADS at him, and I get 2 shots off on him. Up here, it looks like they're almost across, and I'm shooting off into nothing. So with the VPN, there is a larger variance seen there, but maybe only by like 30 or 40 milliseconds. It's not much. The next couple of times when I shoot at them, I got bored. I saw the little gun barrel poke out right there. Same right there. So I see the movement. I aim over. He peeks the corner. So I'm already on his shoulder here. This right here, I'm still on the wall. And I've already taken my shot and got a couple on him. Right here, it looks like I hit the shots as well. The player's barely moving. So that's why in this instance right here, it's not as bad. It's not as, the latency isn't as prevalent. But in that first one where the player was running by really fast and it looked like I didn't shoot at anything, they were just, my shots whiffed. That player movement being relayed to and from the server, their position in the map compared to mine. For latency. If there is a very large variance, then something's going on, like somebody's using a VPN, like a NetDuma or something, and they're not showing their latency because it's creating a very large amount of latency, possibly even dropping packets on purpose, enough not to get disconnected, but enough to potentially get a heads up on an opponent. But it's hard to say without actually seeing. But from a controlled test from 2 different locations, there should be next to no latency and spectator lag. So it should be you spectating with whatever calculations the server has made. So pretty much what I see, minus a few milliseconds, is what my observer should see. So, all right, that's all. Deuces.